Okay, sorry, yeah. Okay, hi everyone. So, thanks for staying this Sunday afternoon. I'll begin my section soon. So, actually, I guess I would like to kind of recap and work off what Mikhail and Dave have done earlier. So, kind of like where I'm going with this kind of builds off what they've done. So, I may be making some references back to their things as well. So yeah, hi. So my talk is about how to have fun because if you don't have fun as a game master, then you wouldn't play the game. You are a player. You are a subset of player population. You are not somebody special. You are a special player, but you are still in a category of player. All right. So never forget that. Sometimes we get in over our heads. We think that we're doing something else entirely alien from the rest of the table, then you probably, if you play the mage, you have just suffered some paradox, all right? So don't get too hit much yourself. So I'm going to tell you about how to basically have fun and stay in control, even as you lose control, all right? And it's about letting the world burn around you and not caring, okay? So, and very important thing, don't sweat the small stuff. It's about calibrating expectations. A lot of us come into this kind of hobby not really knowing what exactly we're supposed to do, and we get stressed out over 10 million things. Reduce the number of stressors, you'll maybe stress out less. So yeah, so hi, my introduction is I like studying and playing games. I used to teach Southeast Asian studies, but now mostly I work on game design stuff and do freelance stuff on my own. I do tabletop game stuff. So basically get by lah. It's now not really getting by, now it's making the bank account drop less quickly, all right? So I'm Shao, but most of you kind of know me as the you died guy, all right? Because it's kind of like you may know me better as the Dark Souls guy. So for me, it's kind of like I have a reputation, I don't know whether deserved or not, for maiming and killing people in games. But like, actually a lot of it, as Mick said, it's a lie. So it's kind of like, even if you do not seem to be killing people, always appear to be killing people, all right? So, but seriously, let's get to the workshop. Okay, that's what we came in to do. So the sequence of discussion topics roughly will fit in three things. One, what is a tabletop role-playing game? So I'm a bit formalistic about this, all right? So what's a TRPG, all right? Give you context. So what is the role of a game master inside a TRPG, all right? So now we got an object, we got a process, we got a structure. What does a game master, a dungeon master do inside there? And lastly, what do I mean by my key terms, okay? Having fun or keeping control, all right? So I'm going to examine that. So here, all right? So I want to begin by asking you some big questions, all right? Are games always supposed to be fun? Huh? Well, like lotteries can be fun. Elections, are they fun? Well, these are games, drawing lots as well. Or let's say, training simulations where you have to go and take your skills future money and go and learn how to basically nurse better or something. So those games can be not always fun. We will hope for them to be fun, but not always games may necessarily be fun. Supposing if you're here for a fun game, where are you as a player or game master? Do you bring your own fun? Is fun there? Is fun like a natural resource for you to extract? Is there something where if I take all the fun first, is there less fun for someone else? Now it sounds weird, right, to think about that, but that's actually what some players do. And as game masters or prospective game masters, your job is to make sure that you don't get crowded by these guys. Don't get crowded out, because it can happen. Some people want your time, some people want your energy, some people want attention, and then they do the whole, but if the DM doesn't listen to me, then I don't win the game. So your job is not to provide fun for people, all right? So lastly, right, we're going to talk about some general issues about social interactions, because this is a social game. If we don't talk about interaction, it's a fundamental building block of the game. We don't have that, what do we have, right? It's kind of like going to a computer game design class, not talking about programming, okay? All right, so one last thing before I go into this really wordy text, right, is the words kind of don't matter, all right? It's the same thing. You don't need to know this to run a game. These things matter. I'll probably put them up for download later, but you don't have to follow the slides. I'll be kind of talking about them roughly, but you don't have to follow them. Remember, this is just a dead book. This is just dead words. You are the one who makes the game happen. If the game doesn't happen, it's because it's your fault, all right? So, all right, so game master, there's many terms. Judge, referee, keeper. If you go back to the 70s, a lot of people are called judges and referees, okay? There wasn't an idea of a dungeon master, a game master yet. These names are going to be the ones I use the most, referee and judge. Because, right, it kind of keeps you the idea of fairness that's very important inside this job. So you have three main duties, basically. I'm just going to take from this guy, James Ruggie, a bit of a contentious fella, but I'm just going to use this quote because I like it. So you have to present challenges. Number 2, organize the challenges into a campaign. He has a certain structure, he has a certain form. Lastly, be disinterested and impartial in the way you run the game. Now, these two gentlemen are kinder than I am because they advocated lying to save your characters' lives. I don't care. Okay, if you die, you die. Because you see, in the great cosmos, right, some people are dead, they didn't get a second chance, so why should you? Alright, so once you establish certain ground rules there, right, then basically it makes their victory all the more sweeter. If they fought, like for example, like Ash, right, like, you know, I was doing a home game for you guys, for AL, like there was a demon outside, alright, and then they opened the window, some animals flew outside, and then the animals got killed. So at the moment of time, Ash looked kind of traumatized, alright? Then I'm like, wow, I feel quite bad now. She's still traumatized, okay? As the demon ate the pet, ate the animals, alright? So what happens is like, however you need to set, right? Because if I don't let the demon kill the animals, then the demon just lost some bite. Then in that world, right, demons don't mean anything anymore. Animals don't mean anything anymore. So you've got to be sometimes a bit impartial and ruthless even to yourself. Don't root for the players. Root for them in your heart, right, but not in your mind, okay? Okay. So the thing about it is that why is it important to be disinterested and impartial? That's what I talk about. And that's what I want to do, right, to reduce the amount of stress that you may have. If you think that you're an entertainer for AL, that you're here for a public game, people come in, they must have fun, don't have that thought all the time. Sometimes it's good because it's good to care about other people, but don't let that, right, increase your stress, right, until you can't function anymore, all right? So you have any questions? Yeah, but first we'll need a 10-foot pole to poke around with that, all right, because it's a traditional thing. So my main thing is don't care about the things. Don't care about the small stuff, all right? Is it possible to care too much? Yeah. You got how many people? 5 people in front of you. Everyone's like kind of like looking to you for direction, and you're like stressing out because you feel responsible for every single bit of experience. You can't do that. Nobody can do that. You can maybe do user experience management, but they will feel bored at some time. And when that happens, they will check their phones. Try to minimize that, but you can't control it. You're not responsible for it. Don't try to impress people about how cool you are or whatever. Like, oh, I got this really creative idea, because, you know, that really doesn't matter, okay? So are you kind of like trying to create a very good impression that you can do funny voices and act really well? When it comes naturally, yeah. But if not, don't try to make people too impressed with an Age-Lord Dragonborn Warlocks, okay? So lastly, if your players are bored, right, or losing interest, right, is it because you feel you're not challenging enough? This is what happens, because this is drawn from our DM talks. After DM talks, we have like, today I think I let the players off too easily. I'm letting them win too easily. Oh, I quite harder on them. But what happens is that when you do that, you enter adversarial mindset. You just wanted to kill them, but you didn't want to kill them, but you sort of wanted to kill them. So you're kind of confused. So it's kind of like relationship advice, right? Don't go into something if you don't know what the hell you're getting into, all right? So if that happens to you, then congratulations, you tilted, you died, all right? So, okay, so you tilted, you gave first blood away, you suck, all right? I don't want to work with you, you're elo hell, all you fuckers, okay? So, all right, so, I mean, those things are okay, but let's examine. Why should these things matter, all right? Kavit, you should always have the fun you want to have. This is not about king shaming. I'm not shaming you for having your special kind of fun, all right? But then actually, Ahmed, who is not here, my Age-Lord Dragonborn Warlock is better than yours, okay? You are not here, you're not even listening right now, but in my heart, I know I'm better, okay? So, treat yourself as a human being, all right? The fundamental unit of experience here is interaction. The people interacting are human beings, all right? So you also should have fun. And there's so many DMs I see who don't have fun. They go around like, wow, I'm doing this for work. I'm doing this for the 200 XP. I'm doing this for the 5 downtime days. Yeah, like, you know what, whatever. Once it happens, right, I can't pay you install credit enough, right, to do anything. None of us can. So you got to take responsibility. You want to run a game, you damn well run a game. But if you don't run a game, take a break, take a break. This applies to all things in life as well, okay? So it's important to be disinterested, right? Because you need emotional distance, all right? So if you don't have emotional distance, right, you start thinking about second guessing. How many players have done this? How many DMs have done this? Okay, you guys, actually you shouldn't do that. You should attack this guy because you can hit his AC, but the guy harder. Hey, the person playing game or you playing game? You want to micro sit there for 5 people and do that? The moment you do that, right, you're no longer disinterested. You're no longer distant. You're no longer a GM. You're now trying to second guess and backseat gaming your friends. And what do people do to backseat gamers on Twitch? You ban them, right? So like the thing about it is that you shouldn't be bored of your players, basically. But rather, right, believe, right, that the games, as Dave and Mick have said, right, they will rarely run the way you want them to. They will go somewhere weird. Like somebody will do things like, I want to arm wrestle everybody in the town. They're like, sure, whatever. I want to go to my dungeon, but then, you know, half an hour later, we'll start arm wrestling people. So if you get too worried about your game being a certain way, right, the stress will be there. You'll start positioning people somewhere. The invisible railroad will happen. The choo-choo train will come in. And the next thing you know, right, you overcompensate, and people sense this kind of ugliness in the air, And then at the point of time, if you sense that, best to call for a break, smoke break, whatever. Don't let the bad vibes, the bad feels, right, go on too much. Do not let Pepe the Frog come out, all right? So, okay, all right. So why do we as GMs, right, worry so much about the impressions we are making or not making, all right? If the players are having fun, they'll stay lah. If they don't have fun, they won't come back, right? It's as simple as that. Why do you care? You have no control over anyone else's life in your whole life, right? They want to play the game, they'll damn well play the game. What are you competing against? I'm competing against Netflix. I'm competing against free-to-play mobile games, Mobile Legends, Bang Bang, or whatever crap. So it's like, torrents, a AAA product coming out every week. How do I fight a fucking production studio? I can't, right? So you want to fight them and win, you don't fight them on their terms, you fight them on your damn terms. You are a unique product, lah. Right, I'm sorry I'm doing this as a sales pitch, sell me that pen. I mean, the thing about it is you win, right, by doing something that nobody else can do. You win, right, because you have something that's your own little devil tiger, all right? It's your own little charm. So nobody else can have it, and you need to believe in yourself for that, right? So remember, you're the game master, okay? You are in control of the game situation. People are here because they want to hang out with you. People respect you. People want to have their fun. You need to respect that as well. And remember, your game draws them in, all right? Your game solos and consumes them in, and they basically spend 2 to 3 hours pretending to talk like funny elves. So back over to what I was talking to, I think, Taryn earlier, right? Sorry for the really small script, but if you like combat, run combat. You like intrigue, run intrigue. Believe in your strong suit, basically. Nobody can do everything, just go and do certain things. You're not responsible for, you're not a AAA product game, so I'll release this later. So you cannot basically say, hi, we're gonna have open world, sandbox, and then RPG elements, and then shooter, and then this is like Destiny 5 pre-release. So you can't do that. You don't have people to feed. You're just running a game because you want to run a damn game, all right? So calibrate expectations. Your audience is everyone around you. That's sacred. The 5 people in front of you sitting down looking at idiots, right, are sacred, okay? The rest of the world can go burn. They don't matter, okay? This time is our time. You're not preparing this game so they can do a story hour, can write about it on Reddit. You're not using other people as creative batteries, right, for you to do and plug your own creative content. Start a band, you want to do that. But actually band also, yeah. Let's jam. That's like next thing you know, you're probably a solo project. Okay, so have fun. Do the work, all right? So sometimes I see a lot of DMs suffer, and sometimes I'm one of those DMs too, all right? When we don't communicate enough, we're not honest with what I want to do. So when I was much younger and was playing with a few friends and we all started getting around doing all random creative projects, right? Somebody wants to run a game like they're writing a novel, but there's no agency whatsoever at all. Because now you're saying, why do you act in this way? You're apparently supposed to be virtuous. Why didn't you fight the demon just now? Then the game gets ugly and then people don't show up again. Or maybe someone says like, this is not the way you should be role-playing. Then later you stop the game for 2 hours and then you argue with the person about how his knowledge of medieval Europe is not the same as yours. You went to school for that, so screw you. It's like, no, once you got that, the few bad vibes come out again. And then the next thing you know, you don't have a game anymore, you have a pissing contest, all right? So don't abuse your players, basically. You can kill their characters, but don't abuse your players, okay? And lastly, right, amazingly, like all things in life, relationships, work, whatever, we magically think we're telepathic, we understand each other. I sit down there glowering, like a player thinks, wow, the DM hates me because he killed me. Then he says 2 hours glowering at me. But actually for me, I just roll a crit lah. I'm not even thinking about him anymore. The guy's thinking, man, if we were really friends, we don't need to talk, bro. Hey sis, we care for each other because we don't need to talk. Well, sorry, too bad lah. D&D basic interaction, basic game is interaction. You don't talk, you just sit there emoting each other through your eyebrows. It doesn't work lah. Okay. And the really small script will come. You see, notice how I've been making the script smaller and smaller so that you don't look at the presentation, okay? So, but there's actually stuff written there. This is the trick, okay? So the last part is the intrigue out woman, okay? So the script is so small, you can't see anything. So it is, even I can't read it, all right? So, okay, remember, throw yourself, okay? If you have fun, other people have fun with themselves. The main thing about it is, see? It's kind of like this. Will we be using this all the time? No. For this presentation, will we be using it? No. Alright, get good, okay? Scrubs, just accept that you will die. As Mick said, you will make mistakes a lot of times, okay? So my main point is that table is sacred. People could do anything else, but they're choosing to do this. That means that this is a priority. If you get a self-esteem, right, you wouldn't want to ask for more self-esteem for other people in other ways, okay? So I don't care what you are in the rest of your life, right, whether you're a student, teacher, everybody comes to the table, it's sacred, okay? That means that you play your damn game, you don't basically make it do something else. You don't try to sell people insurance in the game or whatever, the kind of thing. So the game is the game. As a game master, it's your job to protect that. So it's a bit like being an experienced manager. If somebody is feeling uncomfortable with another person, come in, step in. Don't be the source of someone else's discomfort. It's never a good thing. So people have fun, be part of the fun. Help people feel into the fun. So the final slide is to give you a seal of approval and even smaller script, all right? Okay. Okay. So the main thing is that I want you to have a strong creative voice, right? But creativity works very well both in solitary decision making and also in creative direction, but also in creative generation of ideas around improvisation. The fact that I can't control anything, right, makes me have to understand why Dave maybe wanted me to do something else. In that effort of communication, right, that's where a lot of your best stories come along. All right, so I want to kind of like do the homework for this, okay? So, the cheer moment, all right? So, for DMG, right, 5E, right, I mean, I came for class, but I didn't bring textbook, right? Okay, so, check page 112, right, and page 235, all right? Why I say 112 is that if you don't know what to do, right, these are my best friends, random tables, okay? Use them before the game, use them during the game. Don't bother about plot. Plot sucks, okay? Plot is shit. Alright, so like, who cares about plot? You know, all plots you've done before, you're not going to make the next HBO Game of Thrones TV series with your D&D game. George R. Martin did it, but that was because he's part of the writer's circus on the 1970s. That was the way it worked out. Use these random encounters. Roll, even if it seems derivative or cliche, who cares? You're just there for content for a day. And people will layer things onto them. So let's say I roll a D20, I get 18. So this town has a notable library, all right? So that's on page 112. You can just use this to have play, right, and have stuff to populate your content with. That's why I say plot isn't that important, because you provide scenery, your characters will bring the plot. If players, like, my players want to loot the library, right, it's going to be a very different story for another bunch of my players who say, I want to go there, apply for a job as a librarian. The emergent storyline becomes different, so don't force feed anything. So this is the final slide, but actually I lied because you're really a good liar. So Kenshiro like to say, you are already dead, all right? So you've died many times today, and don't worry, every time you run a game, you are going to kill something. You need to bring the game down, all right? This is the end of the game. I got to finish the end of the game. It's 3 o'clock, how to end something. If you know how to end something, you probably don't get so stressed out. If you're feeling like, I'm going to do this forever, then you get more and more stressed out. So know to yourself, okay, this is a 3-hour game, 4-hour game, 2-hour game. Calibrate expectations. Take responsibility for bringing everyone down emotionally, then end the thing. And that's how I like to end. So thank you. Yeah, that's all. All right, Q&A. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. Cue them all. All right. So any questions? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we all know that D&D is quite a social game, right?
Yeah.
And some players, obviously might be a bit more well knowledgeable. So how do you, as a DM, manage metagaming?
Okay, what I like to do is it's like how I like to deal with rogue players in my games. Rogues rogues in D&D like to stealth a lot. So destroy cover, flush them out. Okay, in the open source, information wants to be free world, right? It's that they have the same information as you, but they're mastering it differently. So what happens is that most of the time they're more willing than you are to be aggressive. So they'll interrupt you in mid-sentence and say, that's not how the rule works. So it's actually not information, it's the deployment of the information. So what I like to do is small props like this. So, okay, pop quiz time. How many actions do you have in a round? 3, right? What are the 3 actions? Action, bonus action, and reaction, right? So, teacher, okay. So what I like to do is, okay, bonus action and reaction action, right? So we have B and R. People forget about them because they're hard to keep track of. Unless you're a rogue player or monk player, they need to keep track of these things. So what I like to do is I like to create, I use art and craft moment again. Take colored paper, red, green, and blue. Okay, so green is your, let me see, red, green, no, red, blue, and bonus, bonus reaction and normal. Is it? Green. Okay, a G. Okay, red, green, and blue. So for G, right, I just call it general action. That's your action. All right. Then red, I put for reaction, and blue, I put for bonus action. So everybody gets 3 little pips. You can either use your magic life counters. You can use little pips of colored paper, whatever. Put it in front of people. So when somebody has made 5 opportunity attacks, right, and then the person is trying to meta game, like, oh no, I can do. You haven't made an attack yet or whatever. At least you know where it is. This is what I mean by blowing cover. Make the game as transparent as possible across the table so people can't hide. Yeah. So the other thing about it is that basically, as what Dave said earlier, I give you a benefit of the doubt. that this is how the rule works. After the game, we talk about it. Now, if this repeats, right, you see, most people who either cheat or meta game, right, they are short-term thinkers because you see, they suck at gambling. So they really need to win, all right? So they actually, when they are cheating, they're tilting. All right, so they're tilting, they want a way to get advantage. So they're not long-term thinkers. You repeat this process over Intel debriefing over 5 sessions, give benefit of doubt, but let's check later. 5 times you benefit of doubt, 5 times you try to cheat me, right? Like this 6 times you uninvite yourself from the game already. Or other people will start lynching you and don't do anything. Ha ha ha. Alright, so essentially the main thing about it is that you get a problem if you grapple with them. Alright? Because the guy, right, you have to do 10 million things. Roll the dice, the adventure. The guy only got, I want to make sure my power works very power. And that's the only thought in the guy's head. So don't let the guy win because the guy has less stresses, less computing to do. You have a lot of things to do. So don't make it an issue. I'll give you benefit of doubt. Let's check later. Once the thing becomes bad, right, the few bad vibes come out, you can either just say, hi guys, this is a problem to the guy already. Then you don't let the guy win. Don't let them deal with you and make you feel ignorant and stupid. Because you don't need to know the rules to run the game. Yeah, they'll do that. I know this game better than you. You suck. You should feel thankful I'm playing. Now, if someone does that, they kind of nagging shit, right? Then they're playing the wrong game. Ask them to go out. Okay, all right. So your table is not there to abuse other players. Okay. Yeah. So that's that lah. Any other questions about the social management or D&D, or like the rules management? Okay. All right. Okay.
Things like for example, we are all very low-level amateurs.
Yeah.
And maybe some of us are new. So we went to this place, see some of these exploding gargoyles, but we wouldn't know, right? But he's like, because of these gargoyles, they'll explode in your face and then kill them. They'll be like, what the hell is spoilers?
Yeah. So you can just tell them don't give me spoilers, but it also depends on the DM as well because most of them. That's why I talk to you guys as being very important is that as a DM you're responsible for this thing. If the guy says the gargoyle is going to explode, you really have 2 choices as a DM. 1, let him go, and B, say, hey, don't do that again. It's about teacher management now, okay? So it's if you let them go, right, you signal to them they can repeat it over and over again. I used to run 3E games where I killed a lot of people in Temple Elemental Evil, so somebody downloaded the book, right, the PDF, right, to read through it, and then so he would know what happened beforehand. So what happens, I was like, wow, hey, don't go this door trap one. Then later I was like, hey, wow, really? How you know? Then later the guy was like, then the guy is just a kind of anxious person who will do this kind of matter. So what happened is that I was like saying, I didn't want to, he wanted to make it drama as well, because if I call him out, hey man, you're cheating, he will then explode and tell me his life story about why, because he was bullied as a kid, he deserves the cheat. And then the thing is that I ain't got no time for that. I got 3 hours to run the game, not therapy. Alright, so, I ain't got no time for that. Alright, so what I do is, I change some things up in the module. Okay, in AL you can't do that very easily because AL the problem is that you can just download the damn things. So people can do, oh, this part now we should do this. It's like it's almost like watching a let's play. They watch the streamer before they know how to play. So what you do is you just change some things. Like it's a home game. Yeah, and confirm expectations. Okay, for all my lovely DMs here, right? There's this monster known as a gas spore. Does anyone know what it looks like? Okay, so it's my favorite monster. It looks like you are in a dungeon. You go through a cavern. There's a big ball in the distance. It has like strange growths coming out, all right? And then it's floating around. It looks like ice stalks. What do you do? What will you do generally? It's far away. It doesn't seem to notice you. What will you do to it? What will a general player do to it? Okay? Sneak up on it, fireball, shoot it. So this is a very old monster known as a gas spore. It's actually a fungus that's full of methane. And so what happens is that the old AD&D games, they used to put this inside caverns of natural gas as well. So some idiot will fireball it, you blow up, everything explodes, and then everyone dies. And okay lah, let's roll new characters back in town. That's why be impartial, because people want to commit suicide, you're there to help them in the game. Alright? Okay? The thing about it is that you are there as a distant god, remember. I'm not trying to make jokes about suicide and grief, right? But you are not there, right, to hold their hands. Okay? If they win the game by their own metrics of what winning is, right, then you have helped them, enabled them, facilitated them to win. If somebody is metagaming because he's so anxious as cheating on this to have a little ritual of control, then you probably want to take it OOC as well. Yeah, like, hey guys, I don't know about this, but maybe let's not do that again. Never settle things in game, settle things out of game. Don't create a magic NPC. Hey man, you suck, don't do this. Just talk to him as a DM. Yeah, because I've seen that before, it doesn't go well. Yeah. And any questions about this or related topics? Yeah.
Not related, but what do you do with like aggressive players who want to like play their own game? They want to be the DM. Like they want to tell you how they want to play.
Okay, so back to teaching lessons again, right? It's like the NIE mode again. So it's kind of like when I was a teacher, one of the main problems I made, right, was that when there was a student who was noisy in the class, I would always attend to the student. So what's I signaling to everyone else in the class? If you don't make noise, teacher will never listen to you. So that guy is like a troll. He feeds on energy. So these guys are kind of like maybe they are semi-parasitic ninjas, you see. So they're like, crying out on my shoulder, they're like, I want to be the DM. But this guy doesn't have enough mana, right, and energy to run a game by himself. So it's just coming around backseating. And even when it's backseating, he may be doing that because I'm close to the DM, okay? I'm showing to everyone that I'm above everybody because the DM is the center of power. So as a DM, I find it's very important to say, I can't accept corruption. And then, just don't give the guy attention, basically. Like, treat the person as a normal player, tell the person if he gets out of hand, but don't let these people basically get onto your head. Because what happened is, like, let's say 5 people want to do quest A because the DM wanted, is important to them. One guy doesn't want to do quest A, wants to do quest B, and this quest B is kind of like totally random, it just came out of nowhere. And now it forces everyone to do quest B as well, right? That's probably something that as a DM you're like, hi, I want to give you some attention and private time for your own quest, but this is a team game, this is a group game, it's a social game. It's not a one-player game, yeah. So usually I get this problem from people who are very used to playing narrative single-player games. Like, they have the pace for them to play forever by themselves. So they expect that, or maybe they're fanfic writers, they're very used to having the world at their control. So I got this guy who is very into Gundam and Evangelion fanfic, right? Then he got very unhappy that his level 1 fighter died from a goblin. Because in his head he was like, I'm the God Emperor of mankind, and then stab, he died. Calibrating expectations, basically. So if you have people who are new to it because they either come from writing or whatever, and they're not used to socialization, treat it as a social issue, not an in-game issue. Yeah, don't humiliate people, don't make them feel stupid or whatever. Don't make Magic NPC, really. Magic NPC never works, okay? Last thing, don't make DM NPCs, please. Never make DM NPCs. Okay, I mean, we do it a little bit sometimes to help out, but if you do DM NPCs, the tendency is for you to go in and steal energy from other people. You become the main character of your own game. Then like a bit lame, right? Because you could just say rocks 4 people die, but then why are you bothering and pretending that you are the same level as everyone else? It's just very indulgent. You do that too much because indulgent. A little bit is okay. Any other questions? Similar weird ones? And it's become a problem player game, a problem player troubleshooting, right? Like I've actually there's this a bunch of other problem scenarios that occur. What happens if, let's say, your players are crowding other players out? How do you deal with that? So let's say you don't know the game very well. Let's say you're level 1, okay? Let's say you got a guy who knows how to play the game very well. It's like, you don't know how to play this game, your build sucks. You shouldn't play this game. And then there's some kind of bullying activity going on the table. What do you do as a DM? I mean, what will you do individually? It depends really pretty much on what you want to do, right? So for me, generally, I'll try to curb that. And what happens is that when the guy realizes that he can't bully or she can't bully so well inside this group, they tend to leave on their own because they find some other social group where they can be the top dog. So number one is make it a safe space in a sense for gaming. Everyone's there to pretend to be an elf in funny voice. So make it a good place to be an elf with a funny voice. Don't privilege some people over others, basically. Because once that happens, right, you end up, you lose the game. The game will now become very toxic after a while. Any other questions about toxicity, poisons? Herbs, yeah.
Speaking of toxic games, how do you deal with games ending prematurely, before you intended them to end?
Like, let's say, you mean a single session or campaign?
A campaign.
Campaign.
If, for multitudes of reasons, the campaign ends. How do you deal with that?
Usually I just do depends on how a campaign ends. So in your analogy or example, do you have a specific thing in mind?
Maybe life decisions people make, they go away for a long time, or somehow something came up and then they just cannot make it anymore.
Okay, got it.
So things that are out of our control.
Okay.
So how do you kind of deal with it?
So you see, the campaign ended for the player, but not for the rest of the group. So there's differences between everyone losing the game and one person losing the chance to play. So when I went to Manila last month to play some games, so I have characters there that hanging out as NPCs because I'm not there lah. Okay, then they say just fly by and play lah. Not too expensive. I say screw you. Yeah, so like, I mean the thing about it is like, so what did my character do? He said, oh, the DM said because your character is religious, so he opened a madrasa. Then I said, okay, sure, because they were playing this Middle Eastern fantasy game where now I apparently run a madrasa somewhere lah. So I'm like, okay, I should be president. Okay, so I mean like the thing about it is like, what that DM did was he retired me into an NPC. He said, if you are ever in the Philippines again, you can just play up. At least now we know what we're doing for the last 20 years or something, last 20 weeks or something. Then I'm like, I'm still level 2, everyone's level 8, but then that's life, right? Another thing you can do is basically have a debriefing if everybody stops gaming. Say, hi guys, thanks for playing. Just a very short, don't make it weird, and like, then if the thing ended badly, like for instance, it's adversarial. I had an experience in which a game ended because the DM got angry with the players, and the players got angry with the DM, and then we all like, sulking over make believe. So it's like I mean, like, it sounds very stupid, but it happens. I've seen friendships wreck. I used to be a lapper, so I used to see people dress up in strange eyeshadow going around. I will never be friends again with the guy because he looked at my shit. So it's like, like I'm like, okay, weird. I Fort Canning dress up in vampire costume. So I mean, the main thing about it is like, what you do about it is you kind of control and make sure that if some people are not happy with each other, don't. They were just using your game, right, to kind of screw things up anyway. So they were using your game like as a proxy war. There was a big Cold War going on. They just happened to use your game, vampirize the social relation to make it about a pissing contest. It's happened before. Yeah.
Don't take it personally.
Yeah, don't take it
Just
personally.
move on. That's how it is.
Yeah.
Schedules are clashing.
And like if you have players who move on and they cannot find things to do, another thing you can do is you can also ask someone, hey, why don't someone else run the game? Yeah. Like then once that happens, if they will run the game, great, to get a game to play. If they don't want to run the game, then great, you just provide an object lesson in how hard it is to run the game so they can just shut up now and just play. Alright, so always be winning, alright. Always win the trade. Okay. When you play solo top, it's like that. Okay. So any other questions about problem? Yeah.
How do you deal with players that sort of hog the spotlight?
It's a bit related to Gwen's question, right? It's hog the spotlight. So what you do is like keep it to 6 seconds. Right, so you want to talk about the 6 second thing, about the action of 6 seconds?
Yeah. So, so stated in the rules, every action in combat takes 6 seconds. Okay, so every round? No,
every round.
Turn. Yeah, so every round is 6 seconds. Every turn is 10 minutes.
That was 1 year.
Okay. But anyway, yeah. So, how you deal with let's say like table commanders, we call them, is to create. Well, sometimes I create situations where I will bring out the person who's talking the least, or the person who is not participating because this person is hogging the table, or you push them. You can create a situation where you start pushing the table commander to a situation where they can't interact with the rest of the group. Then you get the opinion from the rest of the group. Never make it adversarial. Never make it like you are pinpointing this person out. You have to, make it. How to say that? Impersonal.
Yeah.
You create the situation. And even then, they will still be talkative and stuff like that. Then ask them shut up.
Yeah.
And I think the thing of it is a TV episode, and okay, the guy is saying move the lens to some other the characters that we feature less and all, especially the newer players. Definitely, I think the more aggressive or players who hog will try to dominate, but try to move the scene and take it away from them. I see another scenario where there's a card placed in the center of the table. If someone thinks that somebody is taking too much time, other players will tap the card, and at the end we'll know that, and the player should know, they're being taking out too much of the play them time.
So
yeah, let's move on.
I recently had a situation with such table commander. The best thing that you can do is to run the course, and then after that speak to the players. It's all about getting to know your players, understand why they are doing such a thing. Sometimes they do it because they don't know that they're doing it.
Yeah.
And it's important that you understand the context of that. Sometimes they are just like that, but then you have to advise them, take it outside the game, talk, over, I don't know, a drink or something like that. I want wanted to say a smoke, but the guy's not young, not old enough to take smoke.
Introduce him. Sorry. You died.
But yeah, so talk to them, understand why first, and then once you find out why, then advise them. Okay, it's not cool because there are certain players. They also want to enjoy the game. But this is. You can be very straightforward, like this is unacceptable behavior at the table. Like there are other people there, you are not the only person.
Like
What about situations where the party is split up? How do you balance like each one?
What do you mean the party is split up?
Like say, the one group goes to make a scout, the other stays behind. So it's like, do you focus completely on one just to the other?
it depends on your.
Number one.
Okay, but then it happens. So like that game I was running for you guys here, right? Like there were 3 groups, right? So what happens is like keep a magic budget in your head. I will separate them, but the scene will separate for no more than 30 minutes or 40 minutes or whatever. So you manage within that and you try to combine them back together. Usually when the people split, because A, they are bored of the other guys, B, they're doing recon. So the high stealth characters go to ninja up ahead. So what happens is that the ninja should not take too long. Or worst of all is table familiar commander. So you know the type, they have a familiar, and the familiar does all the scouting, and then they will once the scout finish, they tell the DM they scout again using the familiar. So everyone else just sit there and suck time. So what happens is like, never feel bad about basically canning it overseas. Say guys, we can't do that anymore because there are other people around the game. What I like to do is I use a prop, right? So it's a remote control of talking. Okay, so it's a magic device, magic item uncommon. Depends on whether you're icon or not. So I mean like the remote control of talking basically, when somebody wants to do something, you give them the remote control, it says to them. They talk, or it can be a pen or mineral water bottle or whatever. Something that won't be used in game. Don't use dice, don't use coins, don't use that kind of things. Then after a while, people realize that somebody is always taking the damn remote control. So basically now you quantify the person's hogging of time into a physical object, then you blow the cover up. Again, when fighting rogues, just blow up the damn cover. Then they wish they took Skulker. I mean like, okay, so blow up the damn cover. People like that, they tend to flourish when they basically can hide behind stealth, basically. Remove opportunities for stealth, make it transparent. And one last thing you can do is also table manners. If let's say table commander is, let's say Mick is basically more soft-spoken, and I'm like noisy table commander, I'm like, hey Mick, then I'm crowding Mick out so Mick can't game, right? But is that you may want to say, hey guys, can we rearrange the table a bit? So you may want to put a shyer person who doesn't really know what to do with the game, right? Next to the table commander actually. Who is big, and then tell the table commander, hey man, I need you to teach this person the rules of the game. So get the annoying people and make them your corporals. Okay, okay. Then after a while, if they don't do anymore, demote them basically. Rearrange the table. Dave basically does a very good thing in which he basically just gives us the NPC, who is your character friend, who is the character's enemy and stuff, right? So everybody has their own. And what happens is that you can use it as well. When somebody's taking too much time, you just say, oh, the other NPC wants to talk to this character. There's a DM, you shift the energy around, you Aikido it away. You basically don't make it look like, hey man, no more scene time, next. Thing.
For party split, sometimes if you had a space, tell the guys to stay on the table, the rest go and take a break. 10 minutes, come back, 10 minutes is done, switch to other group. But really, also try to bring the party back together.
Oh yeah, one thing about it is for new DMs, for new games, not new DMs, right, I mean anyone, don't bother trying to basically explain to yourself how these people got together. Do that when you're doing a home game. Just say, hey guys, you all know each other, so it's your responsibility to be friends. But I'm a paladin, but I'm a vampire. Work it out. I'm not here to be the enabler and facilitator to finish your story, alright? So I've got a situation before where a Minotaur, a flaming demon, and a talking sentient wolf was there. So I was like, the DM, how do I do this? I said, never mind, just let the players do it. And when you do that, it goes back to what Dave was saying. Give your players agency. So they're like, yeah, so the wolf is a friend of the demon who got to know the guy in like a art class or something. So then what happens is, don't make it your problem. Number one, don't make their problem your problem, basically. Don't connect arrow lah.
Okay. And then walk into a bar and figure it out.
Yeah. But don't make it ridiculous. Don't say, hey guys, you must know each other or else the game cannot start. When there are problems, figure out whether they can solve it themselves or whether they deal with it. If they can solve it, then just siam lor. Just avoid. Yeah. Good advice generally, right? Yeah. So that's all. Anything else? I'll just answer. Yeah.
Just curious, but how
do you handle players who, I mean, there's a lot of in and out, especially for AL, right? So how do you handle sometimes in situations where player from, let's say, last week, if I was in underwater season, some guys underwater season, and he doesn't show up next week, so does the party drown?
Oh, okay, yeah. So that's what. Yeah, correct.
It happened to me before, and the guy didn't show up, and they were like, okay, we're underwater, and this only lasts for 1 hour, this is bad.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like AL basically because I got this guy basically he was playing AL I think 3 times in a week, right? Then he was saying, hey, you know, actually I'm in 3 different adventures. I don't know where I am. So it's like, no, here we got this like three body problem, 3 war problem kind of thing going on, right? So the thing about it is that what you can do is basically the guy is gone, but you just hand wave the buff and say okay lah, like it stays on there wherever, or you find some provisions that they could use to do that kind of stuff. Then everybody sort of knows wing that it's just there. It's not meant to be optimized to be weaponized later. Because one of the AL rules, right, that saves us a lot is that nothing transfers from one encounter to another. That means that even magic items like that, they're consumables, they don't stay. So you can just give them something to hand wave that. But generally speaking, if that happens, I'll just prefer to basically do it with, hi guys, this guy's not around, do you still want to play this adventure or should we just magically go to somewhere else? So always ask your table. Depends on your table. If your table are strangers and don't know you very well, take control. But if you know the people quite well, it's a relatively regular group, then just negotiate, I think. Sorry, you have a question? Yeah. Murder hobos, okay. Okay, so it depends on whether it's a bug or a feature, you see. Because I mean so let's say your table feels that this is a bug because you want to do serious role playing with things, right? Yeah. So the question is, how do you deal with people who stab people in the face when they open the door? So like, how do you deal with murder hobos who basically want to kill everything? They play the game like it's, let's say, Diablo or NetHack, basically. The only interaction you have is killing stuff. So the feature version of this story is run a game in which murder hoboing is the basic unit of interaction. For example, older school games tend to be like that. The bug version of this is that, what if I have other playstyles? I think was it you that asked earlier, how do you balance different playstyles, right? So let's say, it goes back over to Gwen's question, your question as well, of like, what if one guy who's murder hoboing forces us into an engagement, we all roll in it already, we have to engage because the combat is done already, okay? So the thing about it is, my good friend is the morale table. So 5e doesn't have a morale chart, but your monsters can always choose to run away. So let's say someone stabs someone, you could just like screw this, close the door, lock it, and don't let them in. So what does a murderer who is a hobo learn? The murder hobo learn. He learns that maybe he needs more stealth, maybe needs to be more cunning or whatever. So not every interaction becomes stab. I force the game now to be a combat scenario. Because you see, combat is only 1/3 of the games. There's exploration, interaction, and combat. But what I generally prefer to do is to talk to the guy overseas as a DM. Say, hey, when you do this, other people can't play the game. Yeah, but the person may take it personally, then flip table lah. Oh, okay. Just let your guy die. just say, okay. One other thing about you to be impartial is invest in inventory, not in human resource. So if you need to give stories, right, leave props, give statuary, bas reliefs, or tapestries, or they touch something got dream sequence, but don't have a guy do exposition because guys will die. Okay, and then if you have HP, we will kill it. So the thing about it is that invest in maybe like another way of getting the info dump across. But of course, if there's a key NPC and a queue NPC, then just grow with it. Then if you have a less fun game as a result, right, then too bad for them. And then you question yourself, why am I running this game for these guys? Yeah, because if it becomes, I need to inch around them, and I've seen my friends do the ridiculous thing like the person give exposition got invulnerability on until the exposition finish, then we can fight. Yeah, but the thing about it is that if you do that, right, people start mocking you on that, right, then you lose even more ground. So invest in statues or invest in like tapestry scrolls, whatever, that kind of thing. So people can, like Dark Souls, you get read item description style basically. So the cutscene can reduce a bit, basically.
I think ultimately these actions will have consequences. You go shoot like some commoner. You might get in trouble with the guards, city guards, or someone's gonna want to take revenge.
Yeah.
If they still don't learn, they have to take drastic measures. But as a first step, realize that doing this, maybe they cut off a very good lead to the next part of the adventure. Just remember, it will have some consequences on the scenario and the session.
Oh yeah.
He asked as well, how did you especially metagamers who are like trying to tell
So what kind of metagaming examples are we dealing with? Like for example, cheating or what?
for instance, like this group has started combat already, and someone's like, I'm going to class. You must tell the entire group this long spiel about don't do this action this turn because I'm going to do this.
Someone really made a decision, but they try to steer. Yeah.
Oh,
Or they are going to do it, but their turn comes later in the round.
I basically just say that you're in control. I basically will then do my formalistic thing and say, hi guys, this game is a collaborative story. You're in charge of only this following story element, your character and your equipment. Anything else is not yours, so you cannot tell them what to do. If they follow you because they believe in your tactical leadership, great, but you can't force people to do things. So I'll just cut the guy straight away. Yeah. So let's say, or like, you know, or you may just say like, what I tend to do with this kind of fellas is like, I tend to do things like, hey guys, it's good that you have this suggestion, so this PR shit sandwich, okay? So like, you know, like, it's good that you have this suggestion, but maybe you can tell people after combat, because during combat, you're slowing the pace of the game. Then when they realize that it's not personal, but they're making the pacing go bad, then they usually will let go. You drop the stakes, yeah, you lose the stakes. Non-combat, like someone hogging, is it, or what? So is it like, for example, let's say like you thought that you make friends with person A, but then they make enemies with him instead, is it? Or something like that? Okay, it doesn't occur, it wasn't something you predicted, is it? That's like one thing to do with it. There's this thing I can link up on the Have Dice Will Travel, which the guy says, don't prep plot, instead prep contingency. So always half write your stories. Don't finish them. If you create, let's say, story elements, right, rather than full stories, right, then you don't, because you see, we've been trained to write in 3x structures, right? 3x structures don't work for D&D. Because you see, you want them to resolve a certain way, but the guy decides that he will marry the dragon instead of the princess, right? What can you do, right? So like, you know, like, or like, you know, he will make friends with the orcs that were going to destroy a town. Then you just let them run with it, but don't take it personally as a DM. Because if you take it personally as a DM, right, then you will get very unhappy, you take it on them, and also ask yourself a question, if I don't like this story, is it something I want to spend time doing anymore? You be frank about your desires as well. Because if the group, the vibe, right, is not good, right, together, right, then you probably don't want to spend too much time doing creative stuff with them anyway, right? If they just want to murder and kill and be all cool and never lose, right, then why are you giving 4 hours a week, 8 hours a week to these people anyway, right? So another thing for DMs is that you're not limited to the players around you. The good thing about AL, the last spiel for AL is that you can run games for other people beyond your bunch of friends. You get to know them better, you can run your own home games. So you're not dominated by own meta. Not dominated by the bunch of people around who tell you, we can only play games in X way. So AL is good for meeting new people, basically.
To add on to that point, so there was this article I read on Geek and Sundry. Say yes. Yes and. Yes and then you let them explain. So like what Dave was talking about. Yes and then what happens? So you let them explain what the predicted outcome is, then you have your outcome already. Yay!
So it's
Let's
like
work for you.
It's like no and yes. No will be like no, you are commanding other people. No, you're making the game bad for other people. Oh, I want to do this. They propose, then yes. But if they do bad actions, like for example, they hurt another player or whatever, stop them immediately. If they want to propose creative actions, then enter them, yes, rationalize, explain to me how this works. Then you facilitate, basically. Yeah. So if you make yourself the central storyteller, you feel damn stressed out all the time, basically. So take a break for a while. Don't tilt, go smoke, go whatever, that kind of thing. Yeah. Any other questions on how not to play Magic? Okay.
No, Magic is all about tilting.
Yeah, tilting the enemy. Okay. Yeah.
How important is it to have session 0?
Session 0, depends on how much time you have on social media actually also. Because some people can just bypass session 0, right? By creating, let's say I create a Facebook page for something and then I make it a closed group so we can see. Then I write all the unimportant things there and I just PM everyone, hi, what's the backstory, then I put it all down there and then basically people can refer. So it obviates the need for a session 0. Yeah, so what happens is that imagine that this distributed servers, if you spend time with FaceTime talking to each other, right, then the information, if it could be better done remotely, do it remotely. Yeah. So I usually remove session 0. So usually my session 1 will be media rest, kick down door, and then what are you doing really, basically. Yeah. So that's how you can do. Yeah. Any questions? Sorry for talking so long. Yeah, Gwen.
Sorry, can you refine like a little bit, clarify a little bit more when to say no? Like what
When?
are the mentality?
Wow, that, okay.
That's another
Another
workshop
thought, okay.
topics, yeah.
But like, you know, I mean, like, it's a more art than a precise science, right? But I think the 3 things that for me personally is A, is it distressing someone else? Is it distressing me? So be sensitive to, let's say, like, are you being triggered or other people being triggered by it, basically. If it's no longer just a funny joke, but people are just, I know, generally the vibe is turning ugly, that's probably when you should say no. B is this person overstepping the bounds that you think a normal player should be doing, for example. So let's say, in 4th edition D&D, I used to play a lot of leaders. I used to play a lot of warlords and commanders and shamans. So I would never tell people to do. So I just say, hey guys, there's a buff if you hit that guy, but no buff if you hit this guy. I leave it to you. What do you want to hit? So what happens is that people just end up killing the guy that has all the buffs, or that has all the debuffs on them, because they will follow the damage, you know what I mean? So the thing about it is that I had a friend who was playing leaders as well, but he was very hard for him because he kept doing, don't do this. If you do this, and do this, after I do this, then this will happen. Now that guy, right, if you send him to any officer or learning or training institute, they will not be able to generate command as well. So the thing about it is that if it can't work in the real life, why should we help you do it here? That's when you should stop it. Because now other people are doing work for this guy. We're not paying you, right? So if it bothers other people, it tires other people out, that's when you should say no. So number 1, hurt or distress. Number 2, tires or bores, basically. Okay, and number 3 for me to say no is if somebody is asking for something that's just outright not fair. Like for example, this person says, my backstory is that my father is a king, so therefore I should have 4 warriors with full plate following me all the time, even when I go toilet. So it's like, you know, like, I mean, the thing about it is that, then like I said, especially when I go toilet. Then what happens is that if you allow that to happen, right, what you're sending to the rest of the table is never play peasants, never play slaves, because you don't have 4 men in full plate following you everywhere. So it's like, always be fair. If somebody's overstepping their bounds, right, just make sure that, you know, they understand that, no, this is not allowable. I'm not going to let it be a private server in which, you know, you are like playing Second Life and you have all the things in the world. Yeah. So just be consistent, these 3 things. Yeah. Okay. Well, it sounds like some kind of consent class, yeah. It's like, you know, don't let them bully you, okay? Okay, any other questions? Okay. If not, well, yeah, so thanks for this, and I'll pass it back to Mick for his AL stuff, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, here, right?
Yeah, okay. Okay, so yeah, that comes to the end of the DM workshop. So thanks for coming. Before you guys go, I just want to do a short plug lah. What we do here, I think most of you have played the Adventurers League here at Grey Ogre Games, and what we're doing here is to, you know, what we want to try is to get as many people playing the game as possible, just to, you know, at least try out the game, and they might like it, they might not like it. When we started Adventurers League, it was 1, 2, 3, and who was? You were? No, you. Okay lah. Anyway, yeah, it was me and Shao and a few others, and then we were running Dyson's Delve for quite a short while. Yeah, that was, yeah. And we discovered as we did, like, a lot of people are interested in D&D, more people than you know it, and there's not a lot of outlets in Singapore to play. So we decided to start up Adventurers League, and lo and behold, a lot more people came, and now we got way too many. So our job now, or what we want to do now, is to get out there lah, and you know, allow more. We're not accomplishing what we set out to do, and to be able to do that, we want more people to play more games. We need more spaces. We need more DMs like yourself to facilitate the games lah. So what I'm trying to get at is that if you're interested in practicing, so now, you know, we've dispensed our wisdom, we will be here, and you can approach us after the workshop and go and chit chat, like how to deal with like very specific conditions, what you would have done, what you should have done. you can come approach us. I have all your emails. I will just let you all know of any opportunities that you that will allow you to practice your art. And if you want to practice, because right now we only have Grey Ogre Games and G-Rex. When we get more spaces, you can practice there. But in the meantime, if you do want to, just DM and try it out, you just message me or message the Facebook group, and we'll give you the opportunity to test.
It's not going to be high commitment, so if you just want to try out one session, right, go ahead. It's kind of like, the analogy is that you want to play football during recess, you don't need to basically train for the World Cup, right?
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
I mean, you don't run a campaign, you just can just run one game, you like it, go ahead, continue on, keep it cool, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a one-night stand while homebrew campaign is a long-term relationship. I want to give it a shot.
Yeah. Okay, so thanks for coming. This officially is the end of the workshop. Like I said, we'll be here to hang around, and you can approach any one of us to ask more about what happens. Oh yeah, sure.
Okay, so I'm giving this away.
Woo!
Who rolls the highest on this 27 dice? Gets it over there.
You want to do a random number generator?
No. Roll the dice.
Roll the dice.
So people
Okay.
interested, come and roll off, okay?
Roll. Okay, thank you for coming. We'll see you. Hopefully you have another one soon.
I used to do the 3 tokens for actions thing with kids, you see.